Okay, let's dive into this. Today, we are conducting the ultimate side-by-side job interview. We're testing the two biggest super apps on the market right now, ChatGPT and Claude. But listen, we aren't testing them on how well they can write a catchy poem, generate a pretty image, or answer some random trivia. No, that is old news. We are putting them to the test to see how well they can actually step in and do your daily job for you.
Because here's the reality. Most of us are using AI like it's, well, 2 years ago. We're still the ones doing all the actual manual labor, right? We're the ones physically moving the mouse, clicking the buttons, organizing the folders, and treating these incredibly powerful tools like simple conversational chatbots. But recently, both ChatGPT Work and Claude Co-work have evolved dramatically. They are no longer just chatbots. They act like autonomous coworkers that sit permanently right inside your computer. And when I say autonomous, I mean you can literally watch them take over the screen. They'll open your local apps, search the web, and execute entire complex workflows with full on-screen motion, completely hands-free, while you just sit back and watch them work.
And hey, if you feel like you're a bit out of the loop on this, you definitely aren't alone. But this shift in how we work is happening incredibly fast. Just check out this massive number. 10 million users jumped on ChatGPT's new desktop work features in under 2 weeks. And here's what absolutely blew my mind when I was digging into this explainer. The people picking this up the fastest, they aren't software engineers or coders. They are everyday professionals who finally realized they can just hand off those soul-crushing, boring office tasks to an AI that just operates their computer for them. It's authentic discovery at scale. People are finally realizing they don't have to be the middleman between the keyboard and the app anymore. All right, moving to section 1, the planning test. Planning a 5-day Tokyo trip. Now, what's really interesting about this comparison is how differently our two prospective employees approach the task. We basically threw a messy, totally unstructured PDF at both of our candidates. Inside that document were some scattered travel preferences, a strict $2,000 budget, and a destination, Tokyo for 5 days. ChatGPT built a genuinely solid plan. It set up a base in the Shimashi area and brought the budget in very comfortably at $1,681. It was good, but honestly, it felt a little generic, like something a quick internet search would hand literally anyone. Claude, on the other hand, essentially paused its workflow. It stopped and asked clarifying questions about dates that didn't quite line up in my messy file. And once that was sorted, it specifically picked the Kiyosumi district for lodging, explaining it chose it because it's Tokyo's renowned coffee district, perfectly situated just 9 minutes away from an art museum I'd vaguely mentioned liking in the PDF. Claude didn't just build a plan, it built your plan.
Let's move on to section 2, integration and scheduling tasks. So, it's one thing to answer a prompt in a chat window, but a real employee needs to navigate the actual apps we use every single day, like Slack, without us having to constantly babysit their every move. We gave them a routine task: wake up every Friday at 4 p.m., read through our company Slack channels, and autonomously draft a status update. The difference in their style is incredibly revealing here. ChatGPT just ran it instantly. It dove right into the task without a second of hesitation, assuming it had full permission to act. Claude was a bit more careful, which honestly you might actually want in an employee touching your live workspace. Before making any moves, it clearly warned that the Co-work app must remain open on your desktop to function, and it deliberately double-checked if calendar connections were required before proceeding. Both successfully got the job done, but with very different styles of autonomous motion. One prioritizes sheer speed, while the other prioritizes dependencies and caution. Next up, we gave them a data analysis task, connected directly to that exact same Slack workspace. We asked, count how many YouTube videos went live since June. And this brilliantly illustrates the core difference between the two. If you just need a quick top-line number, ChatGPT is your perfect hire. It scanned the channels and delivered a clean single number, 107 total releases. Fast and efficient. But Claude gave a far deeper, more nuanced breakdown of the raw data. It split those releases into 9 in July and 13 in June, separated out the short-form YouTube shorts from the long-form videos, and even flagged 2 specific videos it was uncertain about due to naming conventions. Why this matters is absolutely crucial. If you want speed, you use ChatGPT. But if you need a thorough analyst who catches anomalies and really dives into the weeds of your messy data, Claude clearly takes the win here. All right, section 3, the climax. Automating tasks by watching you.
Okay, buckle up because this is where things get genuinely mind-blowing. We are talking about a completely new paradigm in computing, the ability for an AI to learn a complex, multi-step job just by watching your physical screen movements once. Here's the exact workflow for this groundbreaking feature, known on ChatGPT as record a skill. First, you just hit record and do your normal task. Moving your mouse, clicking through menus, dragging files. Second, the AI watches all that physical motion, writes a detailed summary of what you did, and asks you for the core rules so it doesn't mess up in the future. Finally, the AI takes over and executes the task autonomously from then on. It permanently changes how we think about repetitive computer work. You show it once, and you literally never do it again.
Let's look at how they both handle this visual automation because it is absolutely surreal to watch. For ChatGPT, we recorded a Twitter or X curation workflow, and the result is wild. When you run the skill, you can actually watch ChatGPT take over your mouse. You visually see the cursor scrolling, liking, and bookmarking AI tweets with over 1 million views completely on its own. It's pure physical motion happening on your screen without you even touching the mouse. Claude recently added this feature too, but with a really brilliant twist. We recorded a video compression workflow, and Claude didn't just record the screen, it actively listened to our voice reasoning to understand exactly why we were compressing the file, not just blindly following where our cursor clicked.
And the level of detail Claude captures from that dual input is just staggering. 108. Just let that number sink in for a second. For a simple screen recording compression task, Claude broke the workflow down into 108 discrete steps. It captured a screenshot of every single micro movement and paired it with a plain English voice transcription of what was being said at that exact millisecond. It doesn't just mimic your macro clicks, it deeply understands the logic behind your actions so it can easily adapt if a button moves or a file name changes tomorrow.
Section 4. Building Sites and Extras. Quality of Life Features.
Let's move to and see how this builds as we enter the final phase of our interview. We wanted to see how they handle creating public assets, like building a custom website from scratch, and explore some of those quality of life bonuses. We asked both to build a portfolio website from just a LinkedIn profile link. ChatGPT uses a feature called Sites. It quietly spawns 3 subagents working in tandem, generates 3 unique visual mood boards for you to choose from, and then instantly creates a live, shareable .site link. It's an incredibly visual and creative process. Claude, on the other hand, uses artifacts. It relies on one powerful agent by default, doesn't generate images, and gives you clean, professional HTML code right out of the gate. However, making it a live, shareable link requires a bit more manual setup on your end. If you want visual choices and instant live links, ChatGPT definitely takes the lead here.
But what about the day-to-day experience? Let's rapid fire through these quality of life features. ChatGPT has some fantastic exclusive features. One of my absolute favorites, pets. These are custom animated desktop characters that add incredible character and physical movement to your workspace. Instead of a boring static loading bar, you actually watch their animated movements, like a little pixel version of Sam or Elon pacing around, bringing actual life and motion to your screen while the heavy lifting happens in the background. It just adds so much personality to the process. ChatGPT also features a side chat, which is brilliant for asking quick questions without interrupting the main task that's running, along with deep/command support everywhere. Both platforms, however, give you the awesome flexibility to choose whether to run your heavy autonomous tasks locally on your machine or up in the cloud.
Finally, Section 5, choosing your AI coworker.
We've seen them plan, schedule, analyze, automate, and build. So, who do you hire? So the crucial point is that there is no single winner. It entirely depends on the reality of your daily workflow. ChatGPT is the ultimate web executor. It is absolutely unmatched for looping web tasks, physical mouse autonomy, where you literally sit back and watch it work, and those fun animated quality of life extras that add real character to your desktop. Claude, conversely, shines as the deep thinking researcher. It's hands down the best choice for processing heavy, unstructured data, learning context deeply through your voice reasoning, and providing careful, highly detailed workflow breakdowns.
We are living in a moment where the very nature of how we interact with computers is fundamentally changing. The days of clicking and dragging through the exact same boring spreadsheet or folder structure every single Friday are over. If an AI can learn your job just by watching your screen movements once, what will you teach it to do tonight? Seriously, don't just watch this explainer and go back to doing everything the hard way tomorrow morning. Pick one tool, record a skill, and hand off your most tedious task to your new AI employee today. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.